Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Sunday night, and for some reason we're live doing Fandom Empire live. And with a topic that's not, well, I mean, we are going to talk Halloween Kills a little later on, and Trick or Treat Studio stuff, and we're going to talk about a very gifted musician. But for the first 25 minutes or so, just so you guys know how long it'll be, giving you a heads up, we're going to talk wrestling. And to go around the round table, first up, he is the host of the Rick and Morty fan show. What's going on, Kieran? I guess you're going to be busy over the next couple hours.
Yeah. I came right back from work and I ran down to the studio to do the Patreon stream, which was really awesome. Check out that. Sign up for Patreon. It was pretty cool. And then now we got this show, and then I got to watch the new Rick and Morty episode, and then I got to react to the new Rick and Morty's episode, and then maybe I'll go to sleep. Who knows?
It's going to be hard for me to not fall asleep while producing your show. I'm on like 3.5 hours sleep. So, and then the night before was only like 3.5 hours too. Also, he is a member of Fandom Empire. He's a patron of Fandom Empire, and he has shit taste in baseball teams. It's Matt. How's it going, man?
You talking about the baseball team that beat your baseball team today?
Yeah, well, that's not hard. So,
I mean, oh yeah, but you couldn't say anything today. But God, you were bragging last night, or was it this morning?
I don't know.
You were bragging this morning, like 7 o'clock this morning, texting me. How about the Mets? Fuck the Mets.
I didn't even watch the game. I just seen your Mets loss, so I figured I'd get on you and
I know.
this bitch. Also joining us, first time on the show and on the channel. He's one of the hosts over, as you can see on his name tag there, the Inside Handoff podcast, which Johnny, who you normally see on the channel here and there, he's also a host over there. It's Jared, man. Thanks for coming on and doing this and actually having a wrestling expert, if you will, try to guide us through what's real and what's bullshit. How's it going, dude?
It's going fantastic. I am always game to talk the tremendous sport of professional wrestling.
I feel like it's only appropriate if I do this. There we go, because I feel like you two are going to have more to say on this than actually you three than me. So let's start with wrestling. We're talking CM Punk and the performer that you guys probably know better as Daniel Bryan. I believe his real name is Bryan Danielson. Have apparently, at least on the Bryan Danielson front, has apparently signed a contract with AEW. But then, this is coming out from various sources. Then was it Sean Ross? Is that his name? Did I already?
Yeah, Sean Ross Sapp, I think.
Ended up reporting that Punk is right there with them and it's about to be done. And then Ringside News, I feel like an idiot because I put this on Facebook, my personal Facebook, not Fandom Empire. The Ringside News is like, no, CM Punk has signed and it's done, or he's about to sign. And then I was reading on Twitter how they're not the most reliable place, regardless of their following. So, Jer, what the hell is happening? Being had again, because I've seen oh man, what the Living Color followed AEW, but then CM Punk apparently followed AEW, Vince McMahon, WWE. It's just like, is he fucking with everybody again? Is there something to it this time?
Okay, yes and yes. Punk is notorious for fucking with people on social media. He's very good at it. He very rarely will give you a straight answer, which is understandable. And I think with the news coming out the way it did, it's interesting because Punk was originally in talks with AEW a couple years ago, and talks fell through. Nothing came of it. They were, I don't know what they were apart on, whether it was money or creative, or he might not have wanted to work with somebody there. So there was an issue there that cut the contract talks off, and he went his separate way. And I could see some acting stuff last year too. And so this really kind of came out of nowhere. But I think there's enough smoke that there's fire to the news. I think Punk has signed, but it's a matter of timing now. They're not going to just blow their load and throw him out there next week on Dynamite. If the news leaked like this, then they can kind of take their time with it. And they don't have to say, hey, we've got Punk, he's going to be there next week. Well, no, okay, do we have Punk? We won't admit to it. So when he shows up, people are going to, blow the roof off the place.
Kieran, any thoughts on the CM Punk front first, and then we'll touch on Daniel Bryan later.
Oh yeah. Actually, CM Punk, just like Jerry said, he's notorious for just throwing up a picture, or he'll throw up one word or one fucking letter. And like, there's so many Punk fans that will go out there and be like, "Oh, the letter W means wrestling. Wrestling means he's going back to wrestling. Oh my god!" And
did you have an Instagram post that people are making a big deal about too? I don't know what it's about, but some song.
Yeah. I think it was the Chicago Bulls song that is played when they come out on the court, which is a subtle hint that the next AEW pay-per-view All Out is in Chicago on September 5th.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't think
read into that.
See, that's got some. Yes, he messes with people, but something that specific, he doesn't mess with people that specific. Well,
I don't know.
Remind me,
he's pretty bad if you follow him. He's pretty bad.
The first time, I think it was All Out. Correct me if I'm wrong. I watched the pay-per-view, but this is a couple years ago. The pandemic happened after it. When they had that wrestling convention, and he was like the headliner, and he had the interview and all that. He was pretty adamant that he was not going to be there the next night, right? But he wasn't adamant until that day that he wouldn't be there the next night.
Yeah, I mean, people obviously put two and two together. He's in Chicago. He's at the fan convention. He's there, right? He's going to show up. But no, he was legit just there for the convention, and he went home. So, it is what it is. And I think there's more to it this time because, I mean, it's so out of left field that like they wouldn't just randomly come up with this. They're not. They don't need to. They've got all these other guys coming in, like Daniel Bryan that we'll get to, or Nick Gage showing up last week, or Andrade, or Malachi Black. So they've got all these guys coming in that they don't need to really prop Punk up. So the fact that it's happening is like it's a perfect storm in a way, but it's also like. It works out for everybody's advantage that it doesn't need to be like this major star that he's the only thing we're clinging to. No, we've got like 6 or 7 guys showing up here that are brand new stars to AEW that we can, build the foundation of the company on.
So next question, we'll go around the table with this one too. To me, there's obviously 2 big options here. Maybe there's a third and I'm just not thinking of it. You can either have him do the Jon Moxley thing where he comes out and confronts whoever. I seen someone put together an edited version of like, oh man, see, this is what I mean. I've been out of the wrestling game for so long. How the hell do I not remember his name? The big guy, the guy who is the guy right now.
Jericho?
No. Well, I mean, Jericho's always
MJF.
Not MJ. The champ. Who's the champ right now?
Oh, Kenny Omega.
Kenny Omega. Holy fuck! Can you tell this is why we brought someone else on? I'm just so out of it right now. I seen like an edited version where him and his manager are out there, and there's no one left to beat, and Punk's music hits, and I would assume if Living Color is following AEW, and because it's an actual band and not something that was created by WWE. They probably paid for the music. I know Johnny was on here with Matt and I making a case for it could be this song or that song. And I made the case, not as a wrestling fan, but just as someone who deals with a lot of promotion. It's like, well, the diehard wrestling fan would know a bunch of Punk songs, but the average audience, I feel like, connects Punk with Living Color.
Cult of Personality.
Cult of Personality. Yep. And we'll get to that, whether you think that's happening or not. But is he just going to debut at All Out, do you think? Or do you think he debuts before and actually has a match at All Out? Because I don't know what way they go with that, and I don't know what way is more effective, to be honest.
I think he's just going to debut at All Out only because they've already got, well, they don't have it yet. They'll finish the angle tomorrow. No. Yeah, sometime this week they got the big 10-man tag, which is going to build to the main event of the pay-per-view. They've already got essentially Kenny Omega against Adam Page for the title at the pay-per-view. So I think they can get away with bringing Punk out at the pay-per-view. And I think the plan right now is for Bryan to debut at the New York show in front of that, 18 right? Before. It is after. You're right. Yeah, it's late September. Okay. So yeah, they debut Punk at the pay-per-view and then Bryan at the big 18,000 seat show. I guess September 22nd, something along those lines.
Kieran?
Yeah, it makes sense. To what you were saying about the music, just before we get to that, AEW has now shown that they will pay for music. We got the Pixies playing for Orange Cassidy already. We got Wild Thing song for Moxley. Like they're showing like, hey man, adding popular songs here. You know, they're paying for it. They're putting the money out there for songs that might even be more expensive. I don't know. I wouldn't know, but they're obviously showing that they'll do that.
Boy.
So, sorry.
Don't forget Tarzan Boy, Baltimore.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So I mean, that would definitely follow the like. They're cool with purchasing music and not just having written random WWE style stuff. I do think. I mean, I think that the best way to do Punk would be to have him come out at the end of the show, run in, do something, because the way you're going to get the largest pop is if people are like going all the way till the end of the show and they're like, fuck, it's not going to happen. Piece of shit. This company sucks. I'm fucking never buying this shit again. And then it was like, that's the best way to get it to get that pop.
And that's what they'll do.
That's what they want.
Exactly
You want that pop. That's the thing in wrestling. That's the barometer in wrestling. If you can get that crazy Road Warrior pop, that's what they want, and that's what I think they'll get.
I just don't think.
Go ahead, Matt.
I don't think right off the bat they're going to pit him against Omega.
No,
no. He's going to need some warm up matches.
He's got
only because Hangman's winning the belt. So
yeah.
I would assume. Now, I'm really assuming that Hangman's going to win the belt, but
so then how do you bring him out?
Otherwise, he's been denied twice.
Yeah.
How do you bring him out at the end then if he's not confronting whoever I'm not saying, hey, Punk just signed, he should get the belt. I don't think that at all. In fact, like I like wrestling storylines that you don't have to have a belt to have a good storyline. But like, how do you bring him out at the end if he's not going to confront one of those two?
What you do is, exactly what you do is like, maybe Hangman wins the belt. Omega's all dejected, like all pitiful and everything, and like I got screwed or something along those lines, and then that's when you hit it.
Or what I'm thinking is, because if you're not going to put Hangman's obviously going to get the big babyface pop when he wins the belt,
right?
Hangman's celebrating, they can do the pyro, and then bam, the Elite jumps him 5-on-1. Boom, 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 boom. Then you hit Punk's music. And earlier in the night, you can have him take out the Dark Order, so they're not going to come save Hangman. So who's going to come save Hangman? Boom, here comes Punk.
You have to explain the Dark Order not being able to do it, but you could also do the circus sort of, Page wins, Omega is pissed, the Elite comes up, beat out Adam Page, the Dark Order comes up, it's pretty equal, and then you grab any other guys who are going to join the Elite. Anyone else, any other tag team? They're looking at signing tag teams from what I hear. They could bring in anyone. Like could be any other two guys they have come in and say like, we're part of the Elite now. Then they fuck them over, and then it's 7-on-5, and they're beating the shit out of these guys. Yep. And then Punk's the equalizer, and that's a big finish. But this is a big show. This is So
this is the place to do it.
I can see them going 90s WCW and having no.
Well, yeah, exactly. You give them what they want, but not when they expect it. Always maintain control when you're booking the show, because it's not up to the crowd when they get it. They know they're going to get Punk, but it's up to the booker when they get Punk, because you've got to build it to the maximum reaction. And I think if they're kicking the shit out of the new champ, boom, 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 and then here comes Punk, and then you end the show with him raising Hangman's hand or whatever.
I saw someone theorizing, and I don't think it's anybody credible, but saw someone theorizing, what if they start the show with that music and he comes out and cuts a promo and then does something at the end? But to me, that you're kind of killing your big pop chance. You're going to get a big pop regardless, but I feel like
Yeah.
it's more effective at the end.
I agree. I think you build it up throughout the show because you don't really he's going to come, but you don't know when. So right at the end of the show, you're like, oh my God, like Kieran was saying, like he's not here yet. What is this? This is bullshit. Come on. And then all of a sudden, boom, boom, boom. And then he shows up for the big pop. Because if you kind of, to use a term, blow your load at the start of the show, you're not going to get the same level of pop if Punk comes out a second time. So, yeah.
So who does he work with first? Like, it seems like a foregone conclusion. It seems to be finally happening.
I think, I mean, you could, if Omega and Page is a one and done. Now, the only reason I wouldn't say Omega is apparently Omega is working hurt right now and might need time off. So if not Omega, I'm not sure who. I mean, you can't really put him with the Bucks or, I mean, I think Gallows and Anderson are too low for Punk to. You got to put Punk with somebody at least, not a mid-card guy, because it would drag Punk down.
My thought was that he would one of the reasons he probably went there is that if Daniel Bryan's going there, and I think they could just put those guys together. I know that a lot of people would say like, well, it's two WWE guys and whatever, and like that sort of thing, but I think that could be his first big match. Would be that those guys. I think he wrestle.
I think he needs a mid-level as a warm-up to knock off some of that ring rust.
Yeah, I like the idea of it being Bryan only because Punk hasn't worked a match in seven almost 8 years, and he's been working with Bryan for 20 years almost. So he would be in there with a guy that he trusts, a guy that he knows, and somebody that he can, like you said, work off that ring rust. And he wouldn't be in there with, let's say, Omega, not saying Omega is unsafe or anything like that, but it's a familiarity thing. Get Punk his confidence back, because I'm sure.
Jericho.
Yeah, Jericho. Actually, Jericho could work too.
Plenty of times together too. That I do know.
they had a spectacular match that's really underrated at that WrestleMania where the whole angle was Jericho was pouring booze on him and everything.
Yes.
Trying to tear down his whole straight edge persona. And then, I mean, I do agree that it should be someone familiar to begin with, because WWE, like, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but WWE's style of wrestling is different from everything else. The timing is so much different. Everything is so, it has to be this way. And they teach you when they bring you there, it has to be this way. Well, I really like to start fast and then do this and no, you're fucking doing it main event style. This is New York style. Come here, you're doing this. And if someone's not into that, they probably don't last very long. And so, I mean, it'll be hard. Obviously, Punk hasn't wrestled non-WWE in forever, a long time. But so I can see that very much being the case. Knock off some ring rust with Daniel Bryan, or it could be Moxley, or it could be any of those guys.
I would love that match, Moxley versus Punk.
It makes sense because Moxley, they're both going to be anti-heroes. They're both going to be characters who could be good or bad, or do good things or do bad things. And Punk, when he shows up, is just going to be Punk and be like, hey, I came back because I want to wrestle this guy. He's not going to be like, oh, I came back because, I hate this person or that. He's going to be like, I want to wrestle this person. This guy said he was the best in the world, and I'm the best in the world. That's like 95% going to be the story when he comes back. I'm still the best in the world.
Yep.
I know I'm asking you unfairly to look into a crystal ball here.
Fuck you.
So, like, for me, when I heard this, I thought, okay, well, maybe it's like a part-time deal for a lot of money. But everything that I've read from various sources that I have no idea how legitimate they are or not, seems to indicate that it's full-time or close to full-time. There's no chance he signed on for more than a year or two, right? Like, he wouldn't have signed some real long-term deal. But then again, The second part of this question is, obviously, I know people are going to be like, well, he did it because he loves the business and he wanted to get back, and it's been so long, but there's obviously a certain amount of zeros at the end of this check that also helps get him back, right?
Oh, absolutely. I think Punk is one of the few guys in the business who knows his worth, and he's not going to put himself in a situation where he doesn't feel he's being paid per what he deserves, what he knows he brings into the company. Essentially, he knows he is a main event character who is going to put eyeballs on the screen, and he wants to be paid as such. So I think that makes sense. But also, I don't think that he needs to work a full schedule. I could see, and what I mean by that is just matches. I don't think we're going to see him working, Dynamite every 2 weeks, because in a sense, not necessarily working like a Sting contract, but I can see Punk using his marketability to draw eyeballs to pay-per-views if you want to see him wrestle, which is understandable.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's marketing 101. That's how you make money. Wrestling or anything else.
He's the Aaron Rodgers of wrestling. If he doesn't get what he wants, he's not coming back, Matt.
He's coming back.
Oh my god!
In like 5 years, like CM Punk did.
No, he'll be back in
for a different team.
So yeah, no, there's obviously 1 second here. This is not good. I got to plug in my vape. I can't not be high by the end of this show. So
it's okay. I need to be high to watch Rick and Morty too. Love you, buddy.
I need to be inebriated to watch Leprechaun.
Now maybe I'm not caught up. Maybe I'm not caught up with who. I mean, I'm definitely not caught up with who's still in AEW, but I figured Johnny is, and he mentioned this name when Matt, him, and I were talking about it. Isn't there the little Colt Cabana problem there? Now I know they're doing a new show, right? They have a new show coming next month, is it, or the month after?
Rampage, yeah. It's their Friday show.
So theoretically speaking, they could keep the two apart, right? Even if there is no roster split.
Yes, they could. I would imagine that could be an option. I'm not sure the taping. Sorry, I'm not sure the taping schedule. I'm assuming Dynamite and Rampage would be live shows. But you're right. There is the post lawsuit issue, I guess, between Cabana and Punk, where they were sued by WWE's doctor after the doctor was rightfully slandered on the Colt Cabana podcast a couple years ago. And I believe Punk said he was going to pay Cabana's legal fees to help fight for the lawsuit. And then once everything got cleared up, Punk said, here's the bill. See ya. And yeah, I guess Cabana was not a fan of that and ended up taking him to court over it. And it sucks because those guys literally kind of came up in the business together. And just to see it get blown up over some stupid lawsuit, it happens.
I don't know exactly what happened with that or not, but I feel like when it comes to wrestling, there are a lot of times in every company at every time when there were people who did not get along very well and were asked to shut the fuck up and just cooperate. I think that's kind of in the DNA of the wrestling business.
Mm-hmm.
That you're like, hey, this guy fucked you over, back in that day when that happened and this happened, or this guy stole your t-shirt or stole your wife or stole your drugs or whatever in the wrestling business. And they've been like, but you know what? You guys are both fucking on contract, so deal with it or leave.
And sometimes they say, hey, we can make a lot of money if we turn this into an angle.
Yeah, you stole that guy's girlfriend. You guys should be on TV together live.
Uh-huh.
I never really thought about the idea that it could be, I'm not saying the first angle, but that they could do Punk and Cabana on a larger scale in terms of general audience.
Cabana's
Yeah,
barely
absolutely.
on TV right now, so
Oh, is he? Oh, see, no idea. No.
he's on the show. He's in the Dark Order, but he like
Yeah, he's like a
I
background.
can't remember the
player
last
right
time he
now.
wrestled a match on Dynamite.
He might have wrestled on Dark.
He's
I
a
don't know.
jobber now.
Not necessarily a jobber, but I mean, he's just
He's
not
a jobber.
used on. Okay, he's not getting beat by anyone, but he's doing his little thing in the background, and he's there. He's there for segments.
Do you think it's to me, whenever someone says long-term deal, for me, that's 3+ years, 3 years or more. I think that's what Jericho got when he first signed there, right? 3 years.
Yeah.
Is there any chance this is more than a year or two, or like with options, etc., or is this something short-term, as in like a year?
I think it depends if Punk is a sure thing that he knows that he wants a long-term deal with AEW where he doesn't want to do comic books or do more acting or whatever, where he can commit for a significant amount of time to wrestling.
It's funny you mentioned the acting thing, and the one thing we didn't talk about on the Patreon stream, and this was out there at a few places, is Phil Brooks, which is CM Punk's real name, was at least approached about the idea of appearing in Halloween Ends. He's a huge Halloween fan. Halloween in the story takes place in Illinois. I could see him having a small role in that movie, but the way movies are filmed now, you can film a movie. The movie's shot in anywhere from 28 to 60 days, and he's never back there again, and he's not on set for all those days. Fun fact for everybody that's waiting for us to talk Halloween, Jamie Lee Curtis was on set for Halloween Kills 9 days, and a lot of those weren't even full days, so that gives you an idea of her role in the movie.
She's probably a big CM Punk fan.
I have no idea. So do we think he's the highest paid guy there now? Like, I know in professional sport, I don't know how this works in wrestling, but there are athletes. This happens NHL, NBA, MLB, you name it. It's not, I want X amount of dollars. It's, I'm the best player on this team and I deserve to be paid like the best player on this team. And I'm not saying CM Punk's the best wrestler in the world. He hasn't done it in 7 years.
He's still
is there that sort of attitude in the industry at all? And with Punk here?
I think Punk is realistic. I don't think he's going to come in and say, I want to be paid as the top guy. I deserve X amount of dollars above everybody else. I think he would probably expect to be paid on scale with, Moxley, Jericho, guys who are main event stars and have name brand value. But I think Punk wouldn't see himself as above them.
All right. That's cool. That's a cool take. Any of you guys have anything you want to add on that?
I mean, it's kind of loosely tied to this, but I've seen a lot of people try and tell me that CM Punk is not going to command, he's not going to bring an audience in. He's not going to bring eyes in. He's been gone for too long, but the amount of freak out that happens when he does troll us every fucking month is crazy. There will be every single site will be like, CM Punk's coming back, CM Punk's coming back, CM Punk's coming back, CM Punk's coming back. It's everywhere all the time. As soon as he types like, hey guys, I'm in, the same town as WWE is tonight. Anything. He could post a picture of, a restaurant that's in the same place as WWE is that night. Be like, hey, I'm eating at the Hard Rock Cafe. And then everyone's like, oh my God, everywhere. And these places would not report it if he wasn't still that big. He has a lot of followers. He's still popular. Any convention, anything he does. So he is going to bring a lot of eyes there. I know that myself, I watch AEW already, so he's not going to bring any more from me. But I would watch.
You only have two eyes.
I would watch one of these really dumb fucking shows that Jared watches. If CM Punk was on it, I'd watch any one of these dumb wrestling programs that Jared watches. Like, I would watch Impact or MLW or anything. If they said CM Punk was going to be there and I knew it, I'd watch it.
Shockingly, I've heard of both of those. I kind of feel proud right now.
There you go.
Oh my God! You wouldn't believe the stuff that this guy makes me watch when I.
Oh no!
I go to his house and like, hey man, we're watching football, right? He's like, yeah, right after we watch a fucking box fight a teddy bear. I'm like, oh my God! No.
Jer, for obvious reasons that I won't reveal because that's your personal, whatever. Why don't you answer the question on screen? I think.
Okay. I think he would not get paid less as a feature wrestler. The only catch is, I think, depending on the amount of dates he works, because obviously, as you've seen, Moxley, Jericho, the main event guys work every week, per their pay scale. I think if Punk's contract is structured the same, then yeah, he would be paid just as much as the top tier in the company. If he's being paid, if his contract only asks for a select amount of dates, then, I mean, would he be getting paid less per working? Maybe, but I don't know. It's the Brock Lesnar dilemma. I mean, Lesnar gets, $5 million per year to work 4 matches and appear on TV half the time. So, and I don't think Punk is going to get that kind of deal.
No.
But there could be an element of that to it where Punk works less than, let's say, Jericho appearing every week on TV.
It's so smart the way they did the Lesnar thing, though. Because he's like Andre the Giant. When he appears, you're like, oh, fuck. Like shit's about to go down.
He's not just, I know we're not really talking WWE tonight, but he's not under contract to them anymore, right? Or is he again?
No, he is not under contract. He has not been since WrestleMania last year. There were talks this summer to bring him in for this year's SummerSlam, but talks fell through, and then they put Goldberg in the slot.
Yeah, I might not be the biggest Lesnar fan, but I'll take him over Goldberg any day of the week.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Goldberg. I'm still sour over Brett. Anyway. Dean, who I don't think's a wrestling fan, Dean, you can correct me, asks, so he could post a photo of himself in his own town, and if a brand is in his town, then rumors fly. I think that's basically the point Kieran was making. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a running joke on Twitter that somebody saw Punk at an airport and he wrote the letters AEW with his fingers, so that must mean he's going to AEW. That's been going on for years.
All right, last question. We'll get Jared out of here. We definitely appreciate you doing this, man. It's been fun to talk wrestling again.
Yeah, it is.
But I'm going to say it's going to be a lot less fun if All Out passes and he's not there again. I'm just going to be, that's it. It's never happening.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's different opinions on how much of a general audience Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson, whatever, and CM Punk can bring in terms of ratings. Do you think, and it's not even like AEW versus WWE necessarily, but do you think that if those two individuals are on TV almost every week, that it could make a significant difference for the company? And if so, what kind of numbers are we talking?
Yes, more so Bryan than Punk, only because of recency bias. Bryan was obviously a top guy for the past 3 years after his after his return. I think right now their rating just hit 1.4 million, I believe it was, for the show. And I think Bryan and Punk are name guys where they're going to raise the audience. And another aspect of this is WWE has been burning out their audience for the past 3 years now. Their rating has gone down 34% from January 2020 to now. So there's this,
during this time that you would think it would go up when everybody's stuck inside.
They're at home to watch wrestling, right? But the content has been so bad that they've just been pushing their audience away. So an AEW can capitalize on that, where the lost wrestling fans can find something in AEW that they can attach themselves to and be like, hey, this is my company. This company cares about what I want to watch. I don't feel insulted as a viewer. They don't change the camera angle 16 times in 8 seconds. And so I think there's a real chance that AEW can start threatening Raw's numbers, because Raw right now is hovering around a 1.6. So if AEW can pull in almost a 1.2 right now before Punk and Bryan show up, you put those guys on top every week. Hey, more and it's a different type of ex-WWE guy because they're not coming in as a WWE guy. You're not going to watch Bryan Danielson and think, hey, I'm watching an ex-WWE guy do his ex-WWE stuff. He's going to wrestle a completely different style. It's going to be a completely different Bryan Danielson that you're going to see, hey, why wasn't this guy doing this stuff in WWE? Holy shit. So I think that's going to add eyeballs to the television screen.
Yeah. And it's smart signings because CM Punk gets the hardcore people that were watching 7 years ago. And Daniel Bryan brings in kids who are like, where the fuck is Daniel Bryan? Like, why did he disappear? I love that guy. I mean, all of the hardcore fans like both of them, but like I feel like you're grabbing two different parts of audience there by signing these two guys, and these two guys who can still wrestle at a really great level. And like CM Punk, I don't know where he is right now, but I'm assuming he can do his entire moveset still because he didn't work a crazy moveset anyways. And for him, it's a lot of his mic skills that are going to be the important thing too.
He was a ground and pound type of guy.
Imagine the pipe bomb he can release now on the other company. Like that is the start of a total war. Like it could totally be Monday Night Wars in the realest way again. If Punk goes on there and says like, those fucking guys, like
fuck Vince or something like that.
Nobody could do that like Punk because of how good he is at it and because it's real. Like it's real. He really fucking hates those guys.
I mean, I want to touch on what Jared was saying real quick, man. I think this past Raw was like the first Raw I actually watched majority of. I mean,
you have my condolences
at this point. I mean, it's background noise most of the time, or if I don't watch it at all. I'll watch SmackDown because SmackDown tends to be a little bit better. And I think they know how to book a lot better on SmackDown too. But I mean, and if you notice what they're doing with on SummerSlam, are they which old guy are they pulling out next? Because you've been pulling Cena, and now you pulled out, I mean, Edge and Rollins, which should be a good match. I think that will probably be the best match of the night. And
I don't want to see Edge do anything anymore.
Well, the question is, are they going to let Cena get 17, or are they going to let Reigns keep on getting over? But can you believe it? Reigns actually cut a halfway decent promo for the first time in his life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually a really... Dude, that is no bullshit. That's why he's got Heyman.
We got to get moving on. So I'm going to do some rapid fire with Jared since he's the special guest, and he'll have to answer them real quickly. Kieran can touch on them maybe this Tuesday coming up. So we're going to put Jared on the hot seat here. Let's start off with this one. How different is Daniel Bryan's character, which I'm assuming will be Bryan Danielson, from what people are used to in the WWE, or is it just going to be that character?
The character in so much won't be much different. The in-ring style is going to be drastically different. Daniel Bryan is quoted as saying, when I had to learn the WWE style, I just decided to work as a parody of what wrestling is to fit in. So the in-ring style is going to be different. You'll probably still get the same Daniel Bryan character because it's him. That's who he is.
Matt just touched on this, and we had someone in the chat. I think it might have been Get Gronk who's showing up as Get Moosey. They had mentioned that they'd heard the idea of Finn Balor versus Reigns at SummerSlam, but even I think I know that it's Cena versus Reigns, right?
Yes. So Finn came out and accepted Reigns' challenge because he turned down Cena. It's just a stopgap to get them to SummerSlam. The plan is still Cena and Reigns, and then in November when The Rock returns, that'll lead up to WrestleMania.
There's a lot of people that are saying, I think Sean Ross even said this, that at least WWE was in negotiations with CM Punk about a return. For me, as someone who's not connected, that feels like, yep, maybe he entered negotiations, kind of like a free agent to whatever sports team will enter negotiations with another team to drive up the cost of where they truly intend to go. I just don't see Punk going there. I know people will say whatever the Fox show was called. I can't remember, but I think it was Fox.
Backstage.
backstage. Like, was there ever a real possibility of him going to WWE at this point?
No. If they were to talk with Punk about a contract, it's strictly in a panic mode because they are hemorrhaging so many guys to AEW right now that they, as much as they don't like Punk, they understand his value. So obviously, as a company, you're going to want CM Punk in your wrestling company. And from that standpoint, there may have been talks. I don't think they were long or very serious, and I don't think Punk would want to go back there.
That's kind of how I feel. All right. Well, to the audience,
Vince McMahon once rehired the Ultimate Warrior.
True, but they also didn't send the Ultimate Warrior his walking papers the day before his wedding.
Yeah.
I thought it was on his wedding.
Oh, yeah. It was on his wedding. Sorry.
And Punk seems pretty adamant that he was put in positions during that last year of his contract where he was not protected or safe. And I would think of a performer of that stature or any stature, really, you want to feel safe. And if you've busted your ass off for whatever your employer is and whatever profession you work in, and you feel like all of a sudden, you've made the X amount of dollars. I mean, obviously you've made money and you're not safe. That's probably going to leave a real bitter taste in your mouth. So, Jared, thanks for doing this, man, on really short notice.
Yeah.
It's fun to talk wrestling again. Hopefully, if you're willing, if you enjoyed yourself, we can have you back maybe right before All Out and right after All Out. Not necessarily on that day, but in and around there if you're interested. And where can everybody find you at, man?
You can find me at I am on Twitter right now for the football podcast, actually, and that account is at Handoff Inside. We post links and general football questions and news and updates, and we do the podcast every week on Spotify and YouTube, and I'm not sure what other platforms. I don't handle the technical aspect of it. I just talk out my ass about football for a couple hours a week. And you can find my my personal Twitter at Jamie Virtue, and there you'll find all my hot, lukewarm wrestling takes and comments, and all that fun stuff.
Right? Is that right?
That is correct. Yep.
All right. There you go. Awesome, man. Thanks for doing this, and look forward to doing it again, dude.
Yeah, I had a great time. I love talking wrestling with you guys.
Awesome, man. We'll see you again. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah. Take care, guys. Yeah. Your team sucks. Go watch Rick and Morty.
I do. I have to do that right now.
Yeah. Sadly, we're actually gonna lose Kieran at this point too. But I don't think Kieran just talked Halloween for an hour. He doesn't need to talk Halloween again, especially Halloween merchandise stuff. Where can everybody find you at, man?
Watching Rick and Morty right now.
They can watch you watching Rick and Morty?
Yeah, I'll post it.
Okay. Well, whatever floats your boat. Just make sure you're dressed. When you're not dressed,
everyone knows where I am.
Anyways, take it easy, dude. Thanks for doing this, and I guess I'll see you in about 40 minutes or so.
Sounds good.
And then there were two. All right. I actually didn't know I had to outro Kieran there. He gave me a time, and I just looked at the time, and we definitely ran probably 15 minutes too far on the wrestling talk. So apologies for that. But look, we cover fandom content. You guys get Halloween all the fucking time. You get Star Wars once in a while, other horror movie stuff. So we're going to talk about fandom stuff. He owes us the International Kills poster. Yeah. Let's talk about this. Matt, because I don't know if I showed you this image. I don't think it was you, but there's a couple of people that seen literally this image with a different background last year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this right here. I wish it was a little skinnier. I could just talk like this for the next 10 minutes. No, that'd be annoying. So I've seen a bunch of different people speculating. Is it real? Is it not real? Is it real? Is it not real? I can tell you, I'm not going to say 100%, but this exact image with a different background, same quality mask, and we'll talk about the quality in a second, was out last year. A few people got a hold of this image last year. This isn't, and that's the same for a lot of Halloween Kill stuff, by the way. You were starting to hear stuff that came out last year. or was supposed to come out last year.
Right.
Same with NECA. NECA's in the same. It's not like NECA said, oh, you're delaying the film a year? Okay. Well, now I guess we'll get to producing our line of stuff. No, we believe this is the Halloween Kills mask. If you're used to ToTs Mask, there are definitely some signals here that would let you know that. First of all, what does the chat think of this mask? Keep in mind, this is something, if you're an American, you're going to pay $60 to $70 for from Spirit Halloween and whatever other stores you guys have down south of the border that carry this sort of thing. It's a $60 to $70 mask. You're not paying $200, $300, $400 American for this mask. You're just not. It's a $60 to $70 mask. If you want something professionally done, you go get a rehauler to do it. You absolutely go get a rehauler to do it. And by the way, if you, I don't even want to say that. I'm gonna, for personal reasons, I'm not going to say that. So we'll just continue on with this. Frank says, looks like someone wiped their ass with it. Solid Saturn says, looks like shit. Looks like Michael has herpes. I'll be ordering one since the sculpt is there and the gunshot wound was fixed and not gigantic anymore. Let's just get rid of that. Anyways, Solid Saturn, very observant of you, young man. Very observant. Where are we here? There we go. Thank you very much, Mr. Frank. Frank, Matt, and company, just stay on it. Anyways, here's the thing with the mask, and I'm going to be honest here. I'm going to be real blunt. This mask, in my opinion, is way better than that dog shit 2018 mask. It is, we're talking, if you have 70 or 80 bucks in your pocket, after taxes, of course, and you just want to pick up that mask, you don't have $200, $300, $400 to spend on a new mask. It's not bad for that price. Now, if you're getting something rehauled, then I think you should get this mask. One, if the rehaulers are being legitimate and stand-up people, there is less work to do with this. There just is the cuts by the mouth and the burning, but they look like cuts, and the scar that you see on the side. It's already there. That doesn't mean they don't need to do anything to it, but people had to create those effects on the 2018 mask. It's not like they were already there. So there is indeed less work for them to do on this mask. Does that mean they're going to charge you less? No, not necessarily. Should they? Probably. But that's not really how it works, right? But to make their life easier, you're better to buy this mask and go get this mask rehauled than the 2018 mask. Matt, your thoughts on the mask, keeping in, with the perspective of, this is something that you go and buy when you're shopping for your Halloween costume at Spirit Halloween, not something like Dean has. By the way, Dean has a fucking absolutely knockout Halloween 78 mask that I'm so jealous of. I've seen a bunch of other people post their masks online and they're really good. Dean's mask, my goodness. Oh, it's so good. But Matt, your thoughts on the mask in general, well, keeping it realistic.
Oh, I mean, I agree with you. I think this is a lot better than the 18 mask, especially when you look at the definition of the burns and everything. The burns look realistic. They don't look fake, which on some masks, God, I'm trying to think of, what was it? Resurrection? How it just looked like it was just plastered on his face and everything. It just looked really bad. I mean,
go ahead. Sorry.
So yeah, I mean, I might end up getting this mask at Spirit of Halloween this year. If I get something, get that one. If they got that one, I'm getting it because, I'm not going to go out I don't have a mask. I'd love to have a mask, but I think I'm going to do it. This is the one I would definitely want to do.
Well, let's not forget. I mean, this is kind of off topic, but I would say do you think 90% is a fair chance for what I'm about to say? I'll say it and you tell me if 90% pretty. There's a 90% chance that you guys are going to get a really big surprise from us with our October coverage of Halloween Kills. You think that's 90%? You know what I'm talking about, Matt.
Oh, God, yes. They're not going to see this coming.
No. And you know what?
Not at all.
We could be. So I talked about it with somebody else, Matt knows who I'm talking about. And I was like, do we let them know? Do we let them know it's happening? No, we don't let them know it's happening. I'm talking very vague right now. And then actually, Toronto Freddy knows exactly what I'm talking about, so please don't spoil it in the chat. No, get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. He's gone. Fucking guy. You trying to give it away already?
They don't know what it is.
Anyways, I thought no, I'll say that off air. But
tomorrow,
mind blown. Come October is what I'll say, and just be patient. And I think you guys like what you got. Toronto Freddy says the promo shots for the 2018 mask were a shitload better than the one we actually got. I also want to put out there that because there are certain lines of masks. There was the initial line, and there's more lines. Is mayonnaise on an instrument? I'll give you some props for that one, Saturn. Fandom Empire nude calendar. We've spoken at length about that, and that would probably have to be a whole other Patreon tier. So, anyways, Toronto Freddy points out that the mask was not, it looked better in the preview than it does now, or than it did when it came out. After more lines of that mask came out towards the end of their lines, because now they're done. It was better. It did look better. I walked by it last year, and I remember I was just like, oh, well, that looks a lot better than what I've seen the year before or the year before that. So you also have that to take into consideration. John mentions in the chat, I feel like Enz is going to have a gigantic... Was John on our previous show? No comment on that, John. We're gonna talk about Alip here to end the show in a few, so don't go anywhere. Feel free to share it around, man. Boy, was I blown away. Thank you for coming out. When does the ToTs Kills Mask come out? So I don't know a date on this, but I also know that we're still waiting for them to show the Neca things off. And there are multiple Neca things for Halloween Kills, and none of them have been officially revealed yet. And I know people might be like, well, the Halloween 2 thing or the 2-pack with Loomis and Myers. And it's just like, that's not what I'm talking about. There's something that has to do with kills for Neca, and we've mentioned it on the channel a few times. That's coming, and we're still waiting for the official reveal. My guess is late August, early September. The reason why I say this, Freddie, you could probably provide further information on this, dude, if you can in the chat. That would be great. So we went to TIFF. I forget the day TIFF was, but it was sometime in the first 2 weeks of September. And Freddie and his buddy had the masks in line for TIFF. That's how I met him. Freddie was dressed as Michael Myers, as was his buddy. And I believe someone got them tickets. Freddie, do you know when you got your H18 mask back in 2018? Because you can probably line it up with that. Dean says, yeah, Neca has their Kills Myers dated for September release. I'm more curious to see if Neca is going to reveal the other 2 things that I'm pretty certain are coming prior to the movie, or will that be something the movie comes out, then they announce it, and it's out sometime in the early new year. I'll take a Funko Pop That is good. We'll have to wait and see. I think Freddie's still here. Hopefully he can get back to us and let us know when he picked up his H18 mask. But I know it was the first 2 weeks of September and they had those masks in line already. So if I had to guess, late August for the mask. Freddie commented, but didn't actually let me know what I asked. Freddie, when did you get the mask? How quickly before TIFF did you get the mask? Was it like right before, or did you have it for a couple weeks? But yeah, no, guys, I dig this mask, for what it is. Look, I'm sure you guys have heard this before. You pay for what you get. If you pay $5 for the mask, you're probably getting, some piece of shit Walmart mask that is going to look terrible regardless of what you do with it. However, if you're paying $60, $70, that's not bad. For me, my oldest guy likes Halloween. He loves it. Would I pay $60 or $70 for him to have this mask? I would. I absolutely would. Look, at the end of the day, something is worth what you or someone else is willing to pay for it. Someone could say, oh, well, it's worth this, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's how much you think it's worth and how much you're willing to pay for something. Toronto Freddy says he purchased one from eBay and the other from Party City a week before. So that'd be early September. Be very, very early September. Dean Renner in the chat says, by the way, guys, get your questions and comments in now. We're winding down here. I'd say we have 5 or 10 minutes more to go at the most. I promise we will likely have a wrestling free show on Tuesday, but we were pretty upfront about what the most important things were for tonight's show. And you've seen CM Punk and Daniel Bryan prominently on our thumbnail, and they were the first ones, actually first or second ones listed on the title. I don't remember, but Dean says, I hope NECA has more stuff to reveal too. So far, they only confirmed Myers. I haven't heard any other rumors from NECA yet, and I follow them as closely as I follow Scream Factory. This is what I heard. I'll reiterate it. Again, I've not seen it, so I can't be like, yeah, this is 100% happening. I heard that they're going to do a 78 Myers. Now, when I say 78 Myers, I'm not talking Halloween 78. I'm talking the flashback from Halloween Kills, which has some very subtle differences in the mask. Super diehards going to be able to pick them out specifically because of the facial structure of the guy playing Myers in the flashback. But that's a loophole because it's not a Halloween mask. It's a Halloween. Sorry, it's not a Halloween figure. It's a Halloween Kills figure. So whether that's in line one or something they do early in the new year, but that's been out for like well over a year now. That's what the heavy rumbling is. And the other one that I heard about was a 2-pack, which might make sense. Whether it happens or not, who knows? But a Tommy and Lindsay 2-pack. So to me, that'd be something. You see the movie, you see what they do in the movie, and then you have it come out shortly after. Keep in mind, the pandemic has slowed down production for everything. I know it's been going on for a while, but it's still having effect on almost everything going on. So. Toronto Freddy says those Halloween 2 Ultimates are dope. According to Solid Saturn, Tots has told me they're waiting for Universal to give them okay. Yeah, Trick or Treat Studios has had this thing forever. Same thing with NECA, and at least what they're going to release first anyway. I want to believe that NECA is not just going to release Michael Myers first, because we all know we're getting Michael Myers. That's a no-brainer. But you sit on information and then you reveal it closer to the date for that big hype. You get the kills, the 2018 and year, NECA, the burnt mask and all that. But then you also reveal, maybe early September. By the way, here's your 2-pack or your. See, at the end of the day, NECA can't really think about it this way. Show off a flashback Michael Myers prior to the general going audience knowing that there's a flashback. And well, anybody who's on fucking YouTube knows there's a flashback, not just because it's stuff we reported. We only put it out there publicly because everybody's seen the fucking thing getting filmed. You know, it's how they chose to shoot the movie. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's after the movie, because I do think we're getting another trailer, or at least something short. And I think that's with Blumfest, and that's at the beginning of October. Now, that doesn't mean they couldn't reveal it at the beginning of October, and it goes up for pre-order. I still say, hey, you showed a whole lot. I know everyone's like, well, there's still a lot more they haven't showed. And there is a metric shit ton they didn't show in the trailer, but they also showed a lot of important things. So it's kind of like, well, what else do you have to show in another trailer? And the only thing I can come up with is the flashback, or else there's really no need for another trailer. But that doesn't mean you give away the big surprise in the flashback. But
yeah.
Gabriel says, I've DM'd NECA and they said they will have a firefighter's figure and a burning pumpkin. I have no idea if that's legitimate or not, but if it is, I think that's really cool, man. I totally dig that. And I could see that working. I really honestly could. But yeah. Sorry. Toronto Freddy says, I'm still looking for my New Blood Jason that I pre-ordered last fucking November. Is it just not out to the public yet? I wouldn't know anything on that, Freddy. I'm guessing it's just not out yet. Who knows? Unless you're saying they just, haven't gotten it to you yet. Todd McFarlane could learn a thing or two from NECA. Pretty sure I get where you're going with that, man. Matt, any thoughts on what you... How about this? I'm going to ask Matt a question. It goes for the audience too. Comment in the comment section or the chat or whatever the hell you want to call it. What would you guys like to see from NECA in terms of Halloween Kills? Without spoiling anything, what would you guys like to see?
Well, I think I'd love to see, well, of course, Myers. I think you need Lori, Karen, and Allison right off the bat. Maybe if they want to throw in a firefighter, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that. Or maybe possibly a Tommy and a Lindsay. But yeah, right off the bat, Lori, Allison, and Karen. They're solid saying the same thing.
The Allison figure is going to come with Ray's burnt peanut butter penis. Or maybe the Karen character does. That might be less sickening. So we'll have to wait and see what happens on that front. Dean said they've pushed it back month after month. Toronto Freddy followed that up with basically the same thing. It just seems to be the way of the world right now. For me, I really want the 2-pack because I think Tommy Doyle is, again, I hope it transitions from paper to screen really good. He's such a prominent figure in this movie. And I would absolutely... And by the way, this isn't a spoiler. He's wielding a baseball bat. Who doesn't want a Tommy Doyle figure
with a baseball bat?
Baseball bat. Like, come on. Come on. No brainer here, people. No brainer. NECA full nude nurse Karen with a hot tub and interchangeable burnt face. Oh my God.
Only Frank.
Oh no, nobody wants to see that, man. I mean, hey, I think I look pretty good today, but I also was dressed up for a date and a family function. So, no, nobody wants that. Plus, Jade would just buy a bunch of them and run them over in the car and put that on YouTube on a loop. And not only would Jade love that, I'm sure the trolls would love that too. And everybody would just see me get squashed like a bug a bunch. Troy Grubb says Tommy and Lindsay and Michael Myers. All right, let's move over to this fella. Okay, I don't think Matt's had a chance to listen to him. So the other day, Let me tell the story first, and then I'll put them up there. So I was over on Jason Nike's channel a couple months ago, and we watched the movie Crossroads. No, not that miserable piece of shit Britney Spears movie. Oh, Matt, you're frozen. I'm going to remove you and bring you back in. Oh, no, we got no. Maybe try leaving and coming back in. You have the link still, right? There you go. So I'm just going to talk to you guys like this, and this is my face from now on, which Jade might think is an improvement. We'll have to wait and see. But anyways, my buddy Jason Nike over on his channel does a lot of reaction videos lately and reviews, and he was kind enough to bring me over when they were talking about Crossroads. I just realized if Matt messages me, I won't get it. So 1 second. Alrighty. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, Matt's back. There we go. You saved me. How about 40 mob figures? You just get a mob pack, $500 for a bunch of people you don't know. Dylan from the group who was in the movies, he gets his own figure. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Oh God. I want to see a sexy Aunt May from the McGuire trilogy as a Neca figure. Wow. So anyways, he had me over to do a Crossroads watch along, which was a favorite from of my grandfather's who's passed away since 1996, and my dad's as well. And so the movie, I hadn't seen the movie in like 15, 20 years. It was sort of like a family tradition to watch it once a year. And it was kind of emotional watching it over on his channel because it was such a memory to that movie. And I love music. And he tells me about this Alip Ba Ta fella who is a guy. He's just a cover guitarist. I don't think he has his own material, but I could be wrong about that. I know he has a huge following that was sort of blew up one of our videos as they did with Jason's as well. He's so fucking good, man. Like, don't get me wrong. I watch a lot of cover stuff. I do. I like to hear people's takes on songs, but you can always tell, and I'm not a musician. Okay. I'm not, here's how good of a musician I am. I'm going to do this on air.
Oh God. Oh God. What is Frank doing? Frank, what is he doing?
Terribly
Oh my God.
if you couldn't hear that.
I can see you play something right now.
I said that. Ooh, whoops. I said that I'm not a musician, right? And I'm not. Far from it. This is going to sound terrible. But if I'm on here playing something for you guys, and this is my son's guitar, I don't know how to read music. I've never played. My point is, my dad was never in a band, but he was a guitarist. He would just dick around with acoustic guitars. He would play for me the Batman theme, which I cannot play, so I'm not about to play the old Batman theme, but the Batman. And he would cleverly go from like in the middle of that into Midnight Rambler from the Rolling Stones. And he would just do it very right. And my grandfather, who was very old, my grandfather had my dad when he was, I think, 53 or 54. So he was robbing the cradle, old Gramps, who is no longer with us and hasn't been in I guess it's been 25 years this year. But even so, he was in his 70s when I knew him. 70s, early 80s. And even though he was an old man, like I would watch my dad play, and my dad was good, but my grandfather, but my dad would be doing like you're gonna see me do, good, but at the same time would be watching what he does. My grandfather, though, could be sitting here having a conversation with people, not paying attention to the guitar. He's just doing his thing. And that's what this Alip Ba Ta fellow reminded me of. Just somebody who is super confident in what they're doing. Obviously, like he doesn't have a ton of He's not like he has 500 videos up there of cover songs. He obviously, it takes time to learn a song and play it comfortably. There's one thing, having to look at what you're doing, and he looks a little bit, and being in the rhythm and feeling confident about it. I can't play without looking, and I can't play at all. And I'm just going to do this on like literally one string, but like I know how to do 2 or 3 things, and this is the most popular one that people would know. Oh, see, terrible. I can't play. I'm not a musician. But I'm sure.
Like Shaun White.
Yeah, I wish. Jack White's amazing, by the way. Fucking love him.
Yeah.
I can't play. I've always wanted to play guitar. I can't play. It's not my guitar. It's my son's guitar. But I learned how to play that one song just because I love the sound of it. And usually I'll have a slider when I screw around with it, and that hasn't happened in years. Anyways, this guy, if you check him out, his channel's Alip Ba Ta. I'll bring him up. Dude, he's just so fucking good. And like he knows what he's doing. Here is the fella here. And he's looking down at the phone, not looking down at his guitar. And he covers so many different things. And I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, I didn't see the views Jason got and just did it. I seen how much it blew up. But if I didn't, like, if it was about checkers, if Jason did a video on checkers, I wasn't going to follow that up with a video on checkers. He made it pretty clear that if I liked Crossroads, I would really like some of this guy's style. So I started with Sweet Child of Mine. You can find it on the channel right now. And he's so good, man. So fucking good. And he's got so much other stuff on there. I think he's got stuff from the Beatles, stuff from the Rolling Stones, Bon Jovi, Linkin Park, Queen, Avenged Sevenfold. He's really good. I don't know if that is the Johnny V or a fake Johnny V. Shaun White is a snowboarder.
I know that. I was spelling it SHAWN White, as in Sean. Jack White is playing it.
Anyways, I'm not a musician. I'm not going to pretend to be one. Jason's probably going to watch this video and puke because that guy can play. And I've always wanted to learn how to play guitar. I'll probably never learn how to play on that level. But this Alip Ba Ta fella is just, if you have a few minutes and you don't mind covers or you like hearing someone just play around with an acoustic guitar, he's absolutely wonderful. Strongly suggest it. Anyways, fellas, I can't see that he's a mod, Flinner. It doesn't show me when I'm in StreamYards if someone's a mod. I would have to go to the other chat to see that, which I don't have up at the moment. Matt, dude, thanks for doing this tonight, man. It was a lot of fun.
Yes,
We talked wrestling. I can't see it, Johnny. I can't see it. That's how. You missed the wrestling talk. Go back to the beginning. We had Jer on here. They all said you're a dick. No, I'm kidding. We talked Punk and Bryan. That's called Songbird of My Generation.
I still think Punk's was funny. That's not bad if Ray Charles could play the guitar, but no, better than me, seriously.
Troy Grubb, Sean, that was better than me on guitar. I'm awful at playing guitar. Normally I can get through the what do we have here?
Intro.
So I'll try it one more time. I'll probably fail. Give me a drum beat, Matt.
Seven Nation Army couldn't hold me back.
Your drum beat. I'm gonna Axl Rose you. You're playing the drums too loud, man. I can't fucking hear anything over the drums. You're fired, Adler. Get the fuck out of here. I mean, there was more to it than that, but
I'm Matt Storm.
yeah, him and Axl didn't get along either. But that's a thing. That's a thing. Some lead singers do not want the drums played at a certain level, and you have more control over sound today than you did then. So yeah.
I'll tell you one thing real quick. If you get a chance, go on Hulu and watch the
that feels like a fitting note to end the show on.
By the way, go on Hulu.
Matt, I can't play, dude. I'll tell you what. You come over and teach me, keeping in mind I can't read music, and then I can not embarrass myself on air again, and maybe it would actually allow me to have a bit of a connection with my grandfather who's no longer here. But big thanks to Jason, sorry, I think I said Matt, Jason, for showing me the video and having me over on the channel to watch Crossroads. And Alip Ba Ta, guys, definitely worth checking out. And go check out Jason, the J-Man's Movie Cave. I really hope this is. It looks like it's actually Jason, right?
It is.
So,
by the way, let me get this out real quick. Go on Hulu and watch the Paul McCartney 3-2-1 special with him and Rick Rubin. Absolute brilliance.
Johnny V says, did Jared plug the inside handoff? If not, check out episode 1 on YouTube.
Yes, he did.
He did. And you know what? You could take some tips from him. No, I'm kidding. Honestly, though, we had Jared on earlier. It was a blast. I think we ended up going 15 minutes longer than we intended to with him. And
did he also say, if you want fantasy advice, don't listen to Johnny?
The thing that I found interesting is I haven't actually heard Jared audibly in 3+ years. And the first thing I said to him before we went live, I was like, oh, fuck, man. Like, I don't think I have a terrible voice for this. Some people are better. I mean, Dave's a professional voiceover actor. He is good at what he does. There are huge channels where someone doesn't have, necessarily the greatest podcast or YouTube voice. Jer has it. Jer absolutely fucking has it. And I told him that, and I don't know if he was just being modest, but yeah, no, he has it. He should do more for sure. Anyways, to those that came out to Lambkin Lane, thank you very much for supporting the channel on that level. There was a ton of juicy Halloween end stuff. No, you can't have it unless you go over to Lambkin Lane. We'll talk about it on the channel at a later date.
In September.
Yeah, I have absolutely no interest in doing that and will not, in fact. So I don't know who you are, but thank you for reaching out, and that ship has sailed. Anyways, for Matt and Kieran and Tommy B, who was over on Lambkin Lane, and Jer and Johnny and Frank and Toronto Freddy in the chat. I think Jade was here at the beginning.
Yes, she was.
I feel like she was.
She said, hurry up and come to bed.
Did she really?
No, I'm teasing.
Oh. What the hell, man? What the hell? And hey, by the way, we didn't even plug Super Chats tonight, and Dean gave us one anyway. So tonight wasn't really about that stuff. Great stuff, guys. Says Dean. It's appreciated. Again, Revenge, I don't really know who you are in the chat. You may even be him. Not entertaining that whatsoever. That ship has sailed, and you can respect it or you can leave. But Matt, thanks for doing this, man. Where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Matty Phillip West. Same on Instagram. You can find me on the Fandom Empire Den. I'm around there yapping from time to time. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna address that other one.
I gotta hurry up. I got some paperwork to fill out before tomorrow.
Did someone say paperwork?
Yes, I have paperwork to fill out.